Good evening and welcome to the Village of Waukesha. Tonight is Thursday, March 25th, 2021 at 6:30 p.m. This is a meeting of the Village Board of the Village of Waukesha. We're called to order. Would you please all rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Brandon, would you please call the roll?
Durr.
Here.
Fisher.
Here.
German.
Here.
Galinsky.
Here.
Stigler.
Item 4 is open meeting law compliance check. The agenda was posted on the 3 village public notice boards, the village website, and down and distributed to all news media requesting notification in accordance with the open meeting laws on or before Wednesday, March 24th, 2021. Brandon, is that a correct and accurate statement?
It is.
Okay, item 5, citizens' comments. Anyone who would like to address the board, please come forward. Is that microphone on? Should be. Good evening, welcome.
Hi, Glory Kurth, S31 W25109 Green Valley Drive. On the 11th of this month, I asked this board a question, which was, is the fire department in compliance with their budget? I was told somebody would get back to me on a Friday. Guess what? Nobody did. So the question remains, is the fire department in compliance with its budget?
Okay, thank you. Why don't you hang around after the meeting, okay? Who's next, please? Name and address, please.
Mike Borchert, West 231, South 5205, Hunters Hollow. The subject that I'd like to address the board is the policy on the code and complaint policy procedure. Now, this has been a big problem. There's been a lot of complaints filed by residents, and to my knowledge, going all the way back to July of 2020, those are still sitting on the building inspector's desk and have not been sent out. We don't even have a list of the complaints, which used to be provided every month to the board members. And I asked the building inspector, I said, well, what's going on? And he said, well, I don't send out the letters. And so it's been going back and forth. And I'm going to go back to December of 2013. This is the Code Compliance Policy Procedure. Item number 3. Building inspector, if violations are found, shall give notice of the noncompliance by certified mail to the owner and or occupants of the property. And this is signed by, at that time, Chairman John Merrick, and attested by Jamie Salentine, town clerk at that time. To this date, that policy has not changed. This is exactly the same one that I was given the other day. The building inspector claims that he has made an agreement with John Merrick and Kathy Nicholas that the clerk would send out these notices. And that was, and that was in a communication from Attorney John Macy. It states the building inspector stated that they met in 2017 with then Chairman Merrick and then Clerk Kathy Nicholas, and they did touch on the code compliance procedure. He stated they agreed to write on the contract. The inspector would only handle the code and the clerk would send out the letters. But I refer back to the procedure from 2013, which is the same as right now, Item number 9. Any staff deviation of this procedure shall be cleared with the town board beforehand. To my knowledge, this has never been done. You can check the records and the meetings and everything else. And Attorney Macy even said, yeah, this is the building inspector. I was told 2 weeks ago that the building inspector was going to start sending out notices while they got this worked out. I came in and talked to the building inspector this morning. He said he hasn't sent any out. He said, we're working on it. It's the same song and dance I've heard since last July. And this is totally unacceptable. Everybody up here on the board is running for re-election in one position or another. And I believe it's the board's responsibility to address this issue, not just one individual. And my question is, if you're running for the board and you want to be up there and you're not doing the job 100%, why do you want to be on the board? You elected or chose to run for office. You were voted in by a majority of the village residents to work for them. You work for the residents, they don't work for you. And this is a very important issue that has to get resolved. Now we have an election coming up in a week and a half, so nothing's getting done. Last month, February 25th, it was on the agenda, item number 8A, Code Compliance Policy Procedure. There was discussion on it. Nothing was resolved. It was tabled for this meeting. Here's the agenda for tonight. There's nothing on there. Why? I don't know if it's a violation of policy, but it isn't proper. I wouldn't think it appropriate not to put it on the agenda. If there's still something being worked out on it, at least have it on the agenda and say, okay, we're working on this with the building inspector. It's still not resolved. Fine. At least it's on the agenda and the information is being provided to the village residents. This isn't rocket science. The United States Constitution was written in 116 days. The Declaration of Independence was written in 17 days. We're going on over 300 days for a simple little procedure, and it's not done. So whatever the election results come out to, it's up to the entire board to get this issue resolved for the village residents. They have a right to have their complaints resolved and taken care of if they are legitimate, which a building inspector will determine. You know, like George Patton, General George Patton said, lead, follow, or get out of my way. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Who else would like to address the board?
Sandy Hom, West 230, South 3827, Milky Way Road. I'd like to offer an apology. It was about 6.5 years ago at a budget hearing after which I created a meme and snippets about tax to the max. And I was ignorant at the time and didn't understand what the matter of policy meant and didn't understand that the state was restricting how much we could increase our revenue. And I note that since that time, the board and the populace, the residents, have voted the maximum amount, or at least all the times I can think of, the maximum amount allowed by law, including the people that are up there today and others that aren't up there. So I just wanted to let everybody know that, it was very convenient at the time, but with hindsight, I have some regrets. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Anyone else? Last call.
Mike Borchert again. One thing I meant to mention is this so-called agreement between previous Chairman John Merrick and Kathy Nicholas with the building inspector should be null and void. It's not a legal binding agreement. And I can check with John Macy on it, but I'm pretty sure that he would agree with that 100%. So whatever the building inspector says, whether it's in writing or verbal, it doesn't mean a thing. Okay, it's what in our procedures and the way it's written. And they have to accept that contract the way, with that stipulation. If they don't want to accept that stipulation, hire somebody else or get a different inspection company, okay? But just get the problem resolved. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else for citizen comments? If not, we'll move on to item 6, announce closed session. You're hereby notified that the village board of the Village of Waukesha will convene and may, upon motion duly made and seconded and acted upon by roll call vote as required, go into closed session during the course of the meeting. Village board members may attend the closed session. The purpose of the closed session will be as follows. Under Wisconsin Stats 19.85, 1G, for conferring with legal counsel for the governmental body who is rendering oral or written advice concerning strategy to be adopted by the body with respect to litigation in which it is or is likely to become involved, specifically to discuss the lawsuit between the Village of Waukesha and Diamond Communications. Is there a motion to go into closed session for that purpose?
Just, Mr. President, I'll be stepping down for this portion of the meeting as I have in
Okay,
the past.
let the record reflect then that Trustee Durr has indicated the intention to step down regarding this item at 6:41 p.m. Again, is there a motion to go into closed session?
Also move.
I'll
second it.
All right, so the motion is by Trustee Kalinsky, seconded by Trustee German to go into closed session. We'll vote by roll call vote. Brandon, please.
Fisher.
Aye.
German. Aye. Kalinsky. Aye.
Okay, the motion passes 3-0. We are in closed session at 6:42. We'll be out as quickly as possible, and I would note that Attorney Ramsey Bitter is here to join us in the closed session.